And Coulter joins us. Does the elimination in the Senate bill of the so-called public option, does that mean that you and the Tea Parties have won and that American medicine won't be socialized by this new legislation, Ann?
It won't be as bad as it would have been, mostly because almost no one will benefit under it now, which is why, even though it would be fantastic for Republicans if this health care bill actually became law, I still don't think it's going to become law. I mean,
how do you figure it's not going to become law? You think that the House just won't go along with the Senate bill? Is that your last hope?
Well, it's not my last hope, because I think Republicans will win big if Democrats decide to commit suicide over this bill, and it won't be as hard to repeal because it doesn't create a lot of welfare recipients as the Democrats had hoped. But there's a lot that still, I don't know how it gets worked out. For one thing, the abortion language, and by the way, I think we can dispense with the idea of pro-life Democrats now. All you moderate Democrats out there who had such great hopes for the allegedly pro-life Ben Nelson, Harry Reid, and Senator Casey from Pennsylvania. Okay, this is what they gave you. Either
well, let me ask Reverend Al Sharpton.
Fund abortion, or you go to prison.
Reverend Al Sharpton joins us. Do those concessions that we've just talked about, the public option and on abortion funding, which made the compromise possible, does this mean that the president's reform bill, even if it passes, is really an empty sham from the point of view of progressives?
Well, I think that a lot of progressives have said that I certainly would have wanted to see public option and the element of women's right to choose there. But I don't think this is an empty shell. I think when you have a bill that will give at least 30 million Americans an opportunity for health insurance where people cannot be put off because of illnesses and that you cannot be eliminated because of preconditions, I think it gives us more than we've had. Does it give us as much as we want? No, I don't think it gives the president as much as he wants. But when you look at the fact that we've gone through decades of no health care reform, the fact that it looks like we're on the brink of a bill in and of itself is something the Republicans tried to stop, and I think it's a success that they were defeated.
Well, let me ask you on that point, Al. You know, a lot of my liberal friends say they almost don't care what's in the bill. They'll assume that it's relatively reasonable. They just need it to pass to save Obama's political behind right now. Do you think that that's true, that any bill is much better than no bill?
I don't think that it's about saving the president as much as saving the fact that if this bill does not pass in some form, we will not get health care reform on track to be entertained by the Senate and the Congress probably in the next years, a few years. I think what is at stake here is health care. We'll end up back where we were in '94. They did not want to just get some of the things out that I and others think are important. They wanted no bill. And I think that the fact that there seems to be clearly indication we'll have a bill is a glaring defeat for the Republicans, who never wanted any kind of health care reform bill at all.
All right, Ann, is it a glaring defeat for Republicans that there is a bill that the Democrats have, to the astonishment of many, including me, put together, you know, their entire, cabal, or, their entire 58 votes plus the 2 independents in the United States Senate. They got everybody together, they paid off people, they did all kinds of late night shady tricks, but they got the 60 votes, and it looks like they're going to win.
Well, they're going to win in the Senate. They still have to reconcile it with the House. And as I was saying, I don't know how just the abortion language gets through. Bart Stupak in the House says he has 40 Democrats who are not going to vote to subsidize abortion. Well, that's what Ben Nelson just agreed to do in order to get the payoff for Medicare. And if we could just take the one point that Al Sharpton says is going to be better under this bill. He says we'll have no pre-existing conditions, and all these 30 million people are going to have health care now. Well, if you don't have health care now, you always have the opportunity to buy health care. You'll have the opportunity after this bill passes.
Well, if you have no money to buy it, how are you going to buy it?
Wait a second. But if you don't have health care now, why do you buy it if an insurance company can't exclude you for pre-existing conditions? Just pay the fine. Pay the fine.
You buy it because you can buy it, and the government helps you buy it with a subsidy if you're poor or middle class, I guess.
No, not middle class. To the contrary, $500 billion is going to be cut out of Medicare. $500 billion in new taxes will have to be imposed for a $1 trillion program.
People who make over $250,000 a year. I mean, I never considered that middle class. My dad never made more than 10 grand a year, and he thought he was
high on the high. Yeah, you can make $20,000. No, Geraldo. You can make $20,000 a year. Your insurance premiums will go through the roof because in order to subsidize everyone else, or the few who will be subsidized, everyone else is going to have to pay more for those premiums.
Well,
healthcare will go down, premiums will go up, taxes will go up,
going
and
down.
that's what
Whether or
Democrats
not it's a good
on.
plan or not, I guess the American people will judge going forward. Thank you, Reverend Al. Thank you, Ann. I think they have pulled off a political coup of historic proportions. Whether or not what they get as a result, smells like a rose or a skunk.